I posted something on the Conscious Bay Instagram. If you're not following, please go follow the Conscious Bay. It read, "We are behaving lower than what nature has created us for." So when I had this download, I wanted to make it clear that I'm not picking on Black women. I'm a young Black woman. However, I have decided to call out all of the fuckery in 2023. And it's time to start holding us accountable for our image as Black women. I don't see anyone really utilizing their platform to just call shit out. So with that being said, when I say we need to rehabilitate our spirit and cleanse our mind of the low images the world has taught us, I'm talking about the caricature, the image that many of us have armed ourselves with, which has been painted for us as Black women to work against us as Black women. So nonetheless, because of this perception of who we are in the world, we can't focus on our full potential, our full divine potential. Most of us are spending a lot of time defending, fighting the world. When I say defending, I mean defending ourselves, proving ourselves. And honestly, this is what I feel is keeping us from our divine destiny. So in this video, I want to cover 3 main points that I feel are contributing to the discourse of our image. All of these points are unrelated but related, and I do feel they need to be addressed. So with that being said, let's have an unfiltered conversation. So my first point is we continue to promote hoe culture, HOE culture. I'm not the fun police. I don't believe that we as adults can't have entertainment that make us feel good and, sexy, independent, strong as women, whatever. However, I remember when I was growing up and how certain things just weren't for public consumption. Nowadays, there's a deep level of vulgarity intertwined in all of the words, all of the visuals, all of the outfits, the actions of your average woman, your prominent women in society that ultimately have influenced these very promiscuous movements. And we just don't call it out on a grand level. And if we're going to continue to ignore this fact, we will never begin to draw back our power as a Black womanhood, the divinely ordained first women of the world. We setting the standard for class, respect, and beauty. There's nothing sacred anymore. Everything is out in the open. Our voice, everything we say has to be so vulgar. Our body, everything has to be seen. We say the first thing that comes to our mind without really thinking about the repercussions. And the worst part is nowadays, things are just being justified through the lens of women empowerment. But of course, I have to contest, what is so empowering about exposing yourself on camera? Showing the world your body. What is empowering about degrading your men through words and actions? And when I say our men, I mean Black men. And I understand this isn't all of us, but even with those of us who may disagree, we don't speak up. We don't say, wow, this is wrong. This is too much, on a grand level. I'm not talking about in the comments. We don't hold anyone who looks like us accountable to speak up on their 1 million plus platforms. If anything, we work in the reverse and we support the narratives, the images that don't work in our best interest as divine women. We haven't even established publicly who we are, what we stand for as Black women. What is the standard of a Black woman? The divine woman, the first woman. So to me, straight up, the solution is, because we talk enough about the problem, but the solution is we need to hold people accountable. We need to discuss the offensive, filthy language and behavior. And there needs to be a clear understanding of what is okay and what is not. What is rated 18 plus and what is not. What is appropriate for young women and girls to wear, watch, listen to, and what is not. Begin to roll it back. I know we've exposed so much in so little time, but we need to begin to roll it back and bring back traditional values. Certain things just aren't for everyone to see. Because right now the lines are blurred, and for whatever reason, we just don't care about what we by default are communicating to our young people in the future generations by not saying anything at all. There are no clear boundaries. There is no respect for our image as a whole. So my second point is we continue to put down our Black men. One of my spiritual mentors always says, we are allowing the algorithm to create consciousness, the technological algorithm, meaning we are allowing social media, the media, the internet, entertainment, movies, commercials, all of it, to destroy the image and dichotomy between Black men and women. And we, in the last 10 years, have put on a bow on top of that problem by continuing to negatively speak about our men for the sake of public consumption and entertainment. And let me be clear, I know that this is a two-sided wound. I know it's words being flown on both ends, but I'm talking about us right now. Ultimately, we are making the relationship between Black women and men less and less desirable, by talking about, by degrading and psychologically erasing the value of the Black man in our mind, our words, our actions. And with that, justifying it further by attacking each other with the images and perceptions systematically created for both of our demise. So you hear too many Black men in jail. All Black men cheat. There are no good Black men left. They don't love Black women. All of these narratives, but let me tell you that I don't care about what they say. And I say they, meaning the algorithm. And sometimes, it's a systematic thing. Systemically, we've been conditioned to believe these things, even amongst our own loved ones, people who have had negative experiences. We've allowed those negative experiences to influence us. Right. But I can tell you that all of this is as true as we make it. We create prophecy by allowing this system to convince us that our divine mates don't exist. And I really do believe that it is that simple. And as soon as we can begin to fix our words, fix our actions and align ourselves with what we want, not the fake alignment, not the soft girl and, this being single until I find, all of these little pockets of whatever these are pockets of, but truly opening yourself and allowing yourself to not be influenced by anything other than yourself. Right. So, and I say that even speaking to, we know that there's agendas that have been set forth to eliminate our Black men and tear apart the Black family since 1619. We don't talk about it on a grand level, but we know this. But yet you see more and more and more women comfortable with talking down about the Black man on a public level, every podcast, every social media post, expressing their dissatisfaction. And then after that, they turn around to other situationships, and not towards the men who were actually created for you, the men whom nature designed for us, the men whom are true equal counterparts in strength, power, beauty, and divine essence. And that's all I have to say about that. My last point is, we don't know our purpose as individuals. We don't know our purpose as a Black womanhood. And I'll say it like this. We are in a matrix, in a loop. Most of the time, we're working towards an image of success that isn't even ours. That image was put there and reiterated by society over and over, our sometimes, in our families, degree, apartment, success, this, that, luxury, whatever. I'm not talking about this. There's nothing wrong with that, but I'm not talking about that specifically, right? I'm talking about the glorification of someone else's idea of success and not your own. I find that most of the time we're focusing on that while we have no morality, no spirituality, no individual relationships outside of the church with God, no knowledge of the universe and its laws, no true understanding of ourselves and who we are and what we like, And instead of trying to figure it out, we continue to run this race towards an image of success that we didn't even put in our own mind. In my opinion, though, this way of being is you not having informed yourself of who you truly are. So, is this even you? Or are you mimicking the matrix that has set forth a precedence for you, an image for you? And when I say image, I mean low image, like I mentioned earlier. Again, we are behaving lower than what nature has created for us. So with that, and in closing, I want us to begin to seek the truth of who we are. Give yourself time and grace, that patience with yourself. Begin to cultivate a better understanding of who you are, what you're feeling, what you want to feel. What is the current condition of your existence? Because we do what we do right now, how we handle ourselves, how we present ourselves, how we treat ourselves is only a reflection of what we are vibrating on the inside. And if you have not established those spiritual connections, then you won't, let me say that again. If you have not established a spiritual connection with yourself, then you cannot improve your divine condition, right? So there's work to be done there. And you have to step back. You have to spend time alone. You have to spend time in nature. You have to get away from the noise. You have to truly study yourself and what you're feeling. Because if you don't know what you're radiating, what are you radiating? Are you radiating happiness, dissatisfaction, annoyance, stress, love, hatred, joy, rejection, abandonment? This is where you start. And from here, you can identify what needs to happen in order to move forward in a righteous direction. You can establish that spiritual connection with yourself. And then here comes the boundaries and what you know you're going to do and what you're not going to do, what you know is right and what you know is wrong. Holding yourself accountable and holding other people accountable, right? And of course, all of these points that I've made are, like I said, unrelated but related. However, all of these points have also contributed to the saturation of our image, right? So the lines have been blurred for a long time. And a lot of this is because we have an identity crisis as Black women. So to push us forward, we must make sure we are really studying who we are, establishing these boundaries as a woman, as women, and as a womanhood. There are things we are just not going to do, not going to accept, things that are just not okay. Not anymore.